Good evening, everyone. Pepman, Matt Morrow, welcome to Football Focus Weekly, Week 3. We are fired up tonight. This is going to be a great show. We're starting off right after the intro with Pepman's players. We got a lot of players to highlight tonight. The most players I have ever done. I'm going to try to get done in 15 minutes, but I cannot promise you that will happen. 7:50, we've got Week 2 review and thoughts. If we got to cut it for time, we'll cut it for time. 8 o'clock, we got the Dirty Dozen, the most controversial ranking in high school football in the North Carolina area. At 8:10, we got our county rankings, which have motivated several teams, I have heard. And, we'll see what changes we had to make. And we also got the CMS Best Last right after that. 8:30, we got Week 3 select game previews and our Week 3 predictions. And then 9 o'clock, slime time, which is everyone's favorite time with your favorite host, not me. Be right back after the intro, and we're going to get started. And stay tuned for a great Football Focus Weekly tonight. This is Football Focus Weekly with CFI, Charlotte Football Insiders. That's right. The best theme song out there, composed by our boy Solo Steez. Welcome to Football Focus Weekly. I am the Pepman, Matt Morrow, and we are fired up. We are fired up tonight. I got the engine here with me.
What's up, Pat?
Professor Engine, whatever you want to go by, Kenneth McClamrock. And we got Big Shelby here with us. And we're ready to go, man. We'll come back to y'all in just a little bit. Like I said, we're going to start off with Pepman's players tonight. And we got a lot of players to talk about tonight because you all did a great job in submitting all of your stats and all of your film and all of the great things that you did last Friday night. And I'm going to try to get through this in now 13 minutes. So buckle in and hang tight. First of all, Charlotte Catholic tight end Jack Larson, several big catches and a game-winning touchdown, and a 35-34 victory over Hickory Ridge in overtime. We were there last week. Incredible atmosphere at Hickory Ridge and great play on both sides. You flip it over on the other side, Hickory Ridge wide receiver Jalen Harris, 6 catches for 150 yards and 3 touchdowns in that same game. I tell you, he's got an offer from Charlotte, and he looked explosive. He caught every kind of ball you could imagine, the short routes, deep routes, crossing routes, and he ran after the catch, and he looked really good. He looked like a real good player. him and Christian Hamilton, a dynamic duo that's going to be tough to stop in the greater Metro Conference. Providence, athlete Luke Bailey, 26 carries, 366 yards, and 5 touchdowns in a 42-13 win over South Meck. Luke Bailey transitioned to running back full-time this year. He looked like a natural. I looked at his film. They were running that buck sweep off tackle, man. Big guards and tackles out there pulling, getting around. Looked real good, man. We're going to be at Providence this week as they host Parkwood. Me and the producer will be there. Excited to see that one up close. West Caldwell. We don't talk about West Caldwell a lot, but their quarterback, Jalen Patterson, had an incredible game. 514 yards passing, 5 touchdowns, but they lost, unfortunately, 43-37 to RS Central. His brother, Jordan Patton, 351 yards receiving and 3 touchdowns. I mean, when you go look at the film, it is incredible. You know, and obviously they got that natural connection, and it really, really prevailed strong for them in having a big statistical game. Jalen is a 2023 prospect, and his brother Jordan is a 2025 prospect who also plays basketball, 6'2" player. So really, really good talent at West Caldwell. Great performance last week. Butler, quarterback Zach Lawrence, 300-plus yards passing, 4 touchdowns. Butler went down to Richmond Senior. Big win, 40-7. For all these guys, their Twitters are right there. College coaches will check out this show. They'll also get these slides posted directly on Twitter. Tomorrow is a big day for 2024 players. Some of these guys are 2024 players. Wanted to put those Twitters on there so they can be easily found out and sought out by interested schools. And we're going to continue to do that all season long. Ardrey Kell, wide receiver Ethan Presutti, one of the best wide receivers in the area that you may not be aware of. Committed to Old Dominion, 6 catches for 121 yards and 4 touchdowns. Big 40-3 win for Ardrey Kell over Cuthbertson. Some people are calling them a sleeper title contender. If they continue to have complimentary football like the way that they have it over there, they're going to have a great season for sure. And we're going to continue to talk about Ardrey Kell because I mentioned complimentary football. The offense did well and the defense did well. Ardrey Kell, defensive lineman Kyla Watts, strong side defensive end, great size. He can also stuff the run really well, but last week he had 4 sacks and a 40-3 victory like we just talked about. The team had 11 sacks total. Just an incredible, dominating performance. Kyla Watts has been one of my favorite players for the past couple of years. You see his Twitter right there. You can check him out and follow him. This is a sophomore right here, 2025. Pine Lake, our buddy Coach Trotter sent this in. Defensive tackle Jack Smith, 9 tackles, 6 solo tackles, 5 tackles for loss, and 2.5 sacks as a sophomore. 6'2", 250 pounds. Coach Trotter thinks he's going to be a big-time player as he continues to grow and add good weight in their weight program. You see his Twitter right there. You can check him out. 21-0 was that Pine Lake victory over Thomas Jefferson. North Stanley linebacker Jake Jackson. He had a pick 6, 2 forced fumbles, 50 yards rushing, and a 2-point conversion in their victory. Jay Jackson is a really, really good young man. A great character. He wants to be great. 6'1", 220 pounds. Physical player on both sides of the ball. Make sure you check his Twitter out. He's got some great film, and he's going to be a really, really good player. Go back to Independence. We were there in week 1. Once again, number 3, Josh Isaiah, plays a little bit of linebacker and defensive line. 11 tackles, 2 sacks, an interception, and a great effort in a 28-14 victory over Marvin Ridge. The great effort was a great chase down tackle that he made after, I believe it was a blocked kick that Marvin Ridge recovered. And this guy is 240 plus pounds at 6'2". And he went down and he was running after a skill guy. It wasn't some slow lineman he was chasing. Go on his Twitter right there at Josh Isaiah. Check that out. Incredible young man, comes from a great family. Great performance last week for the Patriots. West Meck at 2-0. Linebacker B.D. Waddell V, coach's son. 12 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, and a sack in their victory over Berry. He also had, I think, about 80 rushing yards. I couldn't fit it on the slide. He does so much for that team as a great emotional leader for that defense, and he helps out running the football on offense. Check him out on Twitter. Follow him at BD_V. Great young man, great character. Number one in my book. All right, we go over to Butler High School once again. Linebacker Tyquan Rankin, 10 tackles, 6 tackles for loss, forced fumble, and an interception in their victory. We talked about they beat Richmond Senior last week. See his Twitter right there, at TK2Valid, 5'10", 220 pounds, physical player. You know, to play in Coach Stone's defense, you got to be physical, you got to be fast. This linebacker, Tyquan Rankin, is both of those. Make sure you follow him on Twitter. He's doing a great job for that guy, for that team down there in Matthews. A lot of great defensive players right there. All right, we got more. Hopewell, running back Chris Brown, 180 rushing yards, 5 touchdowns in their victory over East Meck. Shout out to Pop Imagery. Went to Hopewell, East Meck last week. Got some great pictures. We put those out on our social media. If you haven't seen those, make sure you go check them out. It's on Instagram at Charlotte Football Insiders and Facebook at Charlotte Football Insiders. His Twitter at Chris21Breezy. He's a 2023 player. Really good kid, really talented kid. Under the radar, had a great game. Deserved to be shouted out. Now we go to Palisades, Southwest Charlotte. New school, quarterback Jarek Patelski, one of our favorites. Dedicated CFI camper. You see how much better he's gotten. 27-40 for 394 yards and 6 touchdowns in their victory over Calhoun Falls Charter in South Carolina. First win in school history. Shout out to Jarek. Shout out to Coach Simmons, doing a great job getting those Pumas on the board with victory number 1. You see his Twitter right there at Jarek QB2. He's going to be a big-time player, man. He's only a junior. So, you know, he might get some contact tonight at midnight. That's when the college coaches start reaching out to juniors directly, 2024 class. Make sure your stuff is ready and updated. Hillcrest High School down in South Carolina, really talented team. I know Joe Hughes knows about them. Quarterback Bennett Judy, 456 passing yards, 6 touchdowns in their first ever school victory over Greer, South Carolina. I remember Hillcrest won the 7-on-7 tournament at the UNC Charlotte camp over the summer. A lot of talent on that team. Wide receiver Avery McFadden had a lot of those receiving yards. He's another talented young man as well. Check out Mr. Judy on Twitter at BennettJudy1. Really, really good-looking kid. Great physical talent and can throw the football all over the yard. Another one of our favorites, Mount Pleasant athlete Keegan Moose. Coach McClamrock saw him last week. Let me see if Kenneth wants to say something about Mr. Moose right here. What can you say about Mr. Moose?
Yeah, Pepman, he does it all. He's a throwback player. He plays running back. He still returns kicks. He still returns punts. You know, the thing is when you play Mount Pleasant, they're not a pass-heavy team. They're a run-first team, an option team. You know that Keegan Moose is going to get the ball. He gets the ball. He gets hit. He gets hit. He gets hit. He keeps his feet moving. He always falls forward. You know, Keegan Moose is the kind of kid that you want to cheer for because he just does things the right way. Pep, he came up to me after the game immediately and said, "Hey, Coach McClamrock, I just want to thank you for coming out to watch me play, for watching our team play. It means so much to us that you guys continue to cover us and talk about us." So kudos to Keegan Moose and for his 2-0 Mount Pleasant Tigers.
I'm going to do something for Keegan Moose. Moose!
Yeah, I call him TD Moose for a reason, Pat.
That's right. That's right. Thank you, Kenneth. Engine, Professor. All right. Porter Ridge, another sleeper title contender. Running back Danny Kennedy. This was one of Cherie's favorite players. I remember she was telling me that after she interviewed him after a game. 6 carries for 148 yards, 2 touchdowns, only in one half of play in their victory over West Cabarrus. Twitter at DannyKennedy_4. Make sure you go follow him and check him out. Forest Hills quarterback Brady Hibbard. Incredible performance. 6 touchdown passes in their 54-7 victory over Red Springs. Those 6 touchdown passes in a game ties a Union County record. There's his Twitter, his name right there, at Brady Hibbard. Oh, no, we got more, baby. Audrey Kell, linebacker Malachi Lester. 3 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, and an interception in their victory over Cuthbertson. Malachi just joined Twitter because I reached out to one of his teammates and said, hey, if he's playing like this and he wants to play college football, you got to get on Twitter. Make sure you follow him, help him run his numbers up at Malachi_Lester1. Great player, great performance. Go to South Point in Belmont. DB Will Ross, 10 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, and a 30-yard punt return in their victory over East Gaston. It was 48-6. You see his Twitter at Will_Ross. That's 4 S's after that name. Make sure you follow him and check it out. Physical DB, not scared to come up on the running field, the alley from the safety position. Really, really athletic player. Stuart Kramer, one of my favorites. Justin Rockabore, all he does is light up the scoreboard. 389 passing yards, 7 touchdowns in their victory over Bessemer City. Great young man. We interviewed him before. Dual threat kid, throws it all over the yard. That Stuart Kramer offense is fun to watch when they're going. His Twitter at JustinRock2023. Up in Lincoln, athlete Andrew Phelps did a little bit of everything. 9 receptions, 4 tackles, and an interception in the victory over North Lincoln. Great kid, comes from a great family. Another CFI dedicated camper. You see the improvement. He's gotten better. His Twitter at Andrew J. Phelps 5. Porter Ridge, love the lineman. Offensive lineman and defensive lineman Jason Hurts, 5 tackles and 3 pancake blocks in the victory over Weska Bears. I love seeing pancake blocks. I saw a couple. We're going to see another lineman here real soon. They had some nasty ones. His Twitter at Jason Hurts 56. Mountain Island, one of my favorite places. D lineman Ashton Miller. I've interviewed him several times. Great young man, recruited by a lot of schools. 3 sacks in their victory over Corvian Community. That was their first game of the season. Twitter at CoolAshton1213. Really talented young man. Oh no, we got more. Olympic athlete Sterling Green, 7 catches, 112 yards and a touchdown. On top of that, a 100-yard pick 6 in the victory over Rocky River. Great athletic young man. I remember watching him coming up the Olympic ranks from his JV days. Really, really great player in space, great speed. Slot guy, can run out the backfield as well. On Twitter at Sterling Green 9. Hickory with Coach Glass. Quarterback Brady Stober had 16 completions for 292 yards and 5 touchdowns in their 53-27 victory over South Caldwell. His Twitter at Brady Stober. He's a CFI alumni, come to camp. Great performance. His performance is just elevated just immensely, since the last time we saw him in camp. There's that other offensive line we talked about, Ola Simbo. Several big-time pancake blocks and knockdown blocks in their 42-0 win over Garinger. Ola was a top 5 lineman at HBCU Carolina Showcase. 6'4", 295 pounds. Picked up 3 offers from the showcase that day. He's physically dominant, and he's also one of the CMS best, an article I just released on Prep Red Zone. Make sure you check that out as well. Go over to West Meck High School down off Tuckasegee. Athlete DeQuinder Williams. Receiving touchdown, interception, 5 tackles, and a forced fumble. Good gracious. Did he cook the popcorn at halftime? He did everything else. Big victory for them over Berry. Twitter is at DeQuinder. That's 3 R's at the end of that. Another talented young man, comes from a great family. Parkwood, we're going to see them this week when they come to Providence. Running back Wisdom Holmes, 202 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns in their victory over Concord. His Twitter at Wisdom Holmes. Really great young man, athletic in space, speed running back. Excited to see him this week in person. And then finally, I promise this is the last one, we go to Reagan High School. Running back Zion Saunders, 15 carries, 124 yards, 3 touchdowns in action versus Grimsley. They did lose the game. It was close. You see his Twitter right there at Zion_Saunders. He's also the senior class president. Good gracious. A lot of Pepman's players this week.
But Pep, this is what it's all about, man. It's all about giving these young men the recognition. They work so hard. They work all spring. They work all summer. The truth is they work in the cold winter time. And to go out and to showcase your skill set like these young men are, I'm looking at these stats and some of these things you're saying, And I'm like, man, I wish that I had more time on my Fridays to go and watch more of these young men play because this is incredible, Pep. Thanks for everything that you do for high school football from day one. You've always been about the kids. This show is about the kids, and I salute you for it.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate everyone sending in all of these stats and all your films. There were even some that we still couldn't get to, believe it or not. But I tell you, man, let's put some comments up. Derek, hang on there. Slime time around 9 o'clock. It's coming. I promise you. It's coming. Chat administrator doesn't want to talk about last week. I wonder why.
Must have been food poisoning.
Also says Western Rain at Mooresville might break the scoreboard this week. Well, that's possible. I think it's on the list. We'll talk about it. Chris Hagler, what's up, man? Thank you for your kind words on Twitter. Really appreciate that. Producer's coming. He had a little something he had to finish up, but Big Shelby's here.
No love, man. We don't get no love around these parts, man.
But you got Pepman P, Producer P, Professor P. You didn't fit in with the P.
Alliteration, man.
Yeah, alliteration. Thank you, Pep.
Yeah, man.
I hated English class. I had to read.
Yes, chat administrator that Isaiah chase down was incredible. Yes, it was. It was really, really great to see, man. Really, really great to see. John Hood, thanks for watching. Appreciate your support, man. And then Benji Moose Keegan's at practice. He'll watch it later.
Good night.
Hey, we love you guys too, man. Thanks for watching. First team Pepman nominees. You never know what might be coming at the end of the season. Might be a little foreshadowing there. There you go, Big Shelby. See, there you go.
All right, man.
All you gotta do is
I do want to say, even though we lost,
hold on, Big Shelby. Hold on. Go ahead.
I know even though we lost, I want to say our wide receiver Jakeem Hamilton tied the school record for most receptions in the game. He had 11 receptions and 166 yards and 1 touchdown Friday night. So that's big for him. Tying the most receptions in the game for Shelby High School.
He got a scholarship offer at the HBCU showcase too, right?
No, they ain't giving one. They ain't want to give him one.
Well, he's a 6'3" physical receiver.
We got to fix that.
High point in football. We
got to fix that.
We'll got something that's we're gonna fix a lot of that coming up. We got a big announcement, by the way, coming up on Sunday.
This Sunday?
This Sunday.
I can't wait, Pat.
Cannot wait. It's a great thing.
That is going to change the game again.
It just might. So just stay tuned for that. Hey, Big Shelby, biggest fan. Hey.
Appreciate you. I appreciate you, baby. Yeah. Right. See, somebody got to show me love, man. It's a cold world.
There you go. All right. Nice. All right, chat administrator want to show you some love too. Now you're back to Big Shelby. Okay.
I appreciate your compliment, man. I appreciate that. We got a very sneaky feeling about this team too. So we're gonna turn things around, man.
Absolutely. All right, let's go to our topics. Week 2. Which, we got to mention it, man. It's a big deal, and we talked about it a little bit. Richmond and Shelby at 0-2. I don't know if this has ever happened. I mean, it's just a compliment to the tradition that you guys have down there at Shelby and at Richmond as well. But like chat administrator said, we have every confidence that you guys will get it turned around. There's a lot of talent on that team, and you're too good, for it to continue. So we know that's going to turn.
Yeah. It has happened. I don't think I'm not necessarily sure if we started 0-2 before, but we had plenty of years where within the first 3-4 weeks we might be 1-3, 1-4. So it's not, this coaching staff, they faced the adversity in the past before, so we know how to answer back and step up when it's time to step up. So there's no panic on our end. We played 2 real good football teams, so it happens to the best of you.
Absolutely. And then Joe Hughes sharing that It was 2012. That was the last time. So, hey, every 10 years, man, I think any coach would take that. I know I would have.
Yeah, that was my junior year right there.
Oh, man, you young.
Yeah.
Man.
My sophomore year probably was the lowest scoring Crescent Chevy game ever, man. We won a game 9-3.
Wow.
Went in overtime. So.
Good gracious. All right. Well, we see that Providence Day is for real after they put up 52 points on Weddington, which
I told you that.
never happens.
I told y'all that. It's going to happen again this Friday.
Oh.
I'm telling you. Because I promise you, I don't see no really – I don't see no team that can just match up with everything they can do, man. They can run multiple – I don't know too many teams that can run multiple different offenses with the same personnel. So you don't know what they're about to come out in. Like you really don't know what they're gonna come out in.
Next Gen checking in. Thanks for watching, man. He's saying Big Shelby keep all these receipts for late December.
Yeah, my guy Next Gen, man. We're keeping all the receipts, man. Hey, man, that's our goal at the end of the day, man. Our goal is to be there in December. No matter if we go there with 4 losses, 3 losses, or 5 losses. That's
as long as you're there. That's all that matters.
As long as we're there.
That's all that matters. That's right. Now, is there any panic with Chambers losing to Highland Springs last week? It was an incredible game, 26-20. Highland Springs, a highly ranked team in Virginia, but I don't think there's any reason to panic. I mean, that game came down to the end. It could have went either way.
I don't think you should never panic with a non-conference loss anyway, man. Only thing you need to worry about is the conference wins and losses, man. Non-conference games either going to boost you or keep you in the same place when it comes to playoff time. There's never a reason to panic.
Absolutely. And once again, just like I said with Shelby, there's too much talent at Chambers, for a whole implosion. So, we ain't worried about that. But I do think Catholic and Hickory Ridge needs a playoff rematch. What an incredible game that was, man. I mean, the great thing about that game, Catholic is up 28-14 going into the fourth quarter. Hickory Ridge scores 14 unanswered to push it into overtime. Catholic scores. They get their extra point after it was blocked, but then there was a penalty that allowed them to try it again. Hickory Ridge scores. Jupe says, I'm going for 2, but then they had 12 men on the field on offense. 5-yard penalty, backs it up. He says, kick it, high snap, game over. But, I mean, what an incredible game. Big plays on both sides of the football. Charlotte Catholic spreading it out and throwing it downfield. And then the incredible play of, the quarterback Caden Haywood, wide receiver Christian Hamilton, and then we talked about Jalen Harris and Pepman's players. I would love to see a rematch of that game, and hopefully we get it in the 4A ranks in the playoffs at some point, because those two teams really left it all on the field. Great football game. Cleveland County bragging rights this week. We got a lot of Cleveland County matchups, all 2 of them. We got Kings Mountain going up against Burns, and then of course Shelby and Crest. And it's ironic that the focus is now on Burns at Kings Mountain when usually Shelby and Crest. No.
Everybody knows Shelby and Crest game, biggest game in the state of North Carolina. Nobody's shifting their focus. It's the greatest rivalry in North Carolina in my eyes. You can't really tell me nothing different. Our game is still gonna be packed. Their game is still gonna be packed. So it's the biggest game of the year. Shelby versus Crest, man. It'll never change. That stuff will never change down here where we're at. So it is a good week for Cleveland County, man. Hopefully everybody just comes out with injury free during these weeks, man. So you won't see after this week. You won't see another one until the end of the year, last game of the year. So hopefully everybody take care of their business this week.
Absolutely. And then the biggest thing about that game that I like, the 50-50. Good gracious. It was over $120,000.
Whoa. Say that again, Pep?
The 50-50 raffle for Shelby and Crest is over $120,000.
Big Shelby, I'm Venmoing you $100 right now.
Yeah. $100. I got too much love in my heart for Shelby to give Crest $1 on mine, man.
I don't know. I don't know now.
Well, Uncle Sam, y'all better report that.
Well, we can't get in on it. He said Crest ran out of tickets.
Oh my God!
They're doing their booster club, I believe, is doing the half and half. What they did was they have the middle school and high school teams doing raffle tickets. So each team gets a certain part of the money for their athletic budget. So then the other half obviously goes to the winner. Hopefully, somebody from Shelby wins. That'd be even better.
Joe Hughes saying,
I would have bought you a ticket for that one, Shelby.
Man, that's amazing. But that's great. That's great. I mean, because half of the money, like you said, goes to support the athletic programs, and that's a great way to raise money. So, shout out to Crest, big time for putting that on. I want to talk about rivalries. Are they only in name only? Because we had a couple of rival games dominated by teams that have been dominating their rivalry over the past couple of years. First of all, we had Cox Mill over Northwest Cabarrus. They've won 4 years in a row with the Cottle Cup. And then we had Huff big over Mooresville. And I think someone told me they won, is it 10 years in a row? Is something like that?
Yeah, I think it was like 7 or 8 years in a row.
7 or 8?
Before.
So do we need to stop calling some of these games rivals just
Pep,
because
this is what we gotta
only wins?
We gotta realize that sometimes when you're in new school, the athletic directors are trying to create buzz, right? So they get together and they say, let's come up with something neat. I remember the first year when I was at North Meck. It wasn't my first year at North Meck, but the first year we had the battle for the Shield with Hopewell. Hell, nobody told us anything. The coaches didn't know anything about the battle for the Shield. The game ended. We lost. Hopewell won. And Hopewell was holding up some shield, and all the coaches were like, what the hell are they holding up? Lost the battle of the Shield. What was that? It was like my 3rd or 4th year at North Meck. The Cottle Cup, man. Those schools had been around for like 3 years when the Cottle Cup was started. I mean, that's a way for ADs to get buzz. That's what you call faux rivalries. A true rivalry is a rivalry that you play every single year, year after year after year after year. You have competitive teams. You have competitive players. You have large amounts of crowds that show up. Crest versus Shelby is an example of a true rivalry game. You can't make a rivalry game a rivalry game. That's not how it works. If you play 13 times and one team is 12-1, that's not a rivalry either. Not a rivalry. Not a rivalry. It's not a rivalry. Just because it was a rivalry for your dad back in the 1970s doesn't mean that it's a rivalry in 2022. You've got to be able to win for it to be a rivalry. You both have to be good for it to be a rivalry. Otherwise, it's just another game with a fancy moniker attached to it.
Yeah, and then you have with certain coaches may get new jobs and things like that, they want to start naming rivalries that's been around for years. You can't those things don't happen. Like Chevy versus Crest is Chevy versus Crest. Doesn't need a name, doesn't need no trophy. The bragging rights is bigger than anything you're going to buy.
True.
Right? So it's going to last for years. Like Chevy Kings Mountain, our game is the Battle of Buffalo Creek, obviously, because it's literally each team drives across the creek in order to get to them. That's the name it's always been. That's I think that's the only game that has a name down here for us, Chevy versus Crest. So, it's you can see coaches talking about what rivalry is not a rivalry if we win. I mean, if you play 5 times, not a rivalry. Like what Kenneth said, man, rivalries are from the beginning of the school to the end. You can't play 4 or 5 times and say, oh, this is a rivalry. That stuff like rivalry is, like he said, year in, year out, is literally hate between the two teams. You can start a rivalry, I think, depending on who it is, but you can't just be like, oh, this is a rivalry because we done beat y'all the last 4 times.
If you got a 2nd grader and he ain't never seen your team win, it ain't a rivalry. Not a rivalry. Not a rivalry. Now,
boys ain't on the sideline is not a rivalry, man.
I mean, you got to grow up wanting to play. Little kids have to grow up wanting to play in that game. I grew up wanting to play in the Bell game. My parents' generation, my dad didn't go to Concord, but my parents' generation grew up wanting to play in the Bell game. Hell, you got 8-year-olds now who have never seen Concord High School win the Bell. It ain't a rivalry anymore. Kannapolis has owned that for 8 straight years. It's not a rivalry. I mean, Concord has got to win at least the next 5 in a row for it to be considered a rivalry again. You can't call that a rivalry. Rivalry games are teams that are good, that people want to see. packed houses where the whole town shuts down. If you can go down the road to the local mom and pops and get you a dinner and there are people there that night, it ain't a rivalry game.
Yeah, then I know for our county, our rivalries start from the City Park League. Like when I was growing up, it was always county versus city. You never played the kids in the county, but you always heard about them. So the only chance you got to play them was when you got to middle school. So you don't grew up all these years here. Now you get to see them. Now you got it now where we had the Shelby Lions, our City Park team. We play the Little Chargers and we play the Boiling Springs Bulldogs, teams that feed into Crest. We play Upper Cleveland, teams that feed into Burn. So these kids grew up playing, making these rivalries all the way from first, second, third grade on up to high school. That's what makes rivalries. Yeah, like Joe said, Ashburn versus us. Year in and year out, it's a rivalry. One of the biggest rivalries in Gaston County. If not the biggest in Gaston County, one of the biggest in the state. Like, it's every year. Throw the records out the door. It's every year, Ashburn Husk. Them all type of rivalries where it starts. And for middle school and City Park leagues, all that stuff. That's when it starts.
Absolutely. All right, good stuff. Now we got measuring sticks for rivalries. Second grade. Ask your second grader if the team has won, if both teams have won during his lifetime. Yeah, that's how you determine.
And then the other rivalries, like I know I teach talking about like ours, we have first cousins playing against each other.
Right?
Those are rivalries. You see what I'm saying? You have rivalries. Parents, friends, families, houses divided. Mom went to one school, dad went to another school. Those are rivalries. Year in and year out. Houses divided. UNC Duke, houses divided.
So we're gonna put some games to the rivalry test the rest of the season. And we're gonna find a second grader that's from the area and say I'm just kidding, we ain't gonna do that. Anyway. Our new officials causing issues. We talked about this a little bit last week on CFI After Dark when we had some commentary about the officials at the Hickory Ridge and Charlotte Catholic game. And then, Kenneth, you brought up the fact that obviously a lot of new officials are coming in because we had the officials shortage and then some people, decided to get into it. But obviously they've got to learn the tricks of the trade. So are they causing issues across the board, or is it just going to be a little bit here, a little bit there? Or do we have enough veterans to pair with these young guys to be okay?
Pep, I've got some great friends who are officials. A lot of people don't realize coaches and officials, you better be tight with them. As much yelling as you do at them on a Friday night, you better be able to joke about it on Saturday. But I have several officials, and since I've stopped coaching especially, we go back and forth. They send me videotape, and they'll say, hey, coach, what do you think about this play here? And they'll ask for my opinion. I'll tell them what I think I see, and then they'll tell me what the officials at that Friday night actually called. And when I talk to officials, this is what they constantly tell me. We had an official shortage 4 years ago, and then COVID hit. And we had a ton of older officials, and a lot of our officials were older, and they decided to wait. But you also have to remember, and Webb, you'll remember this, 3 years ago, when they changed the way that the play clock works. No longer is it get the ball to the umpire, and the umpire, if you don't know, he's the one who stands behind the defensive line. He's usually a short, fat guy because he gets bumped into a lot. And that short, fat guy who was huffing and puffing after a 12-yard run, he would hold off, look around, put the ball down, he'd stand over top of it, and then they'd blow their whistle to start the clock. That's not the way it works anymore. As soon as the play is stopped, the player is tackled, there's a 1/1000, 2/1000 wait, and they automatically wind the clock. So what we saw when that happened is a lot of older officials, and if we're being honest, bigger officials, stepped back and bowed out again, especially on Friday nights. And now you continue to combine that with the fact that officials just get blasted repeatedly. I mean, we're talking about they're being blasted by the fans, they're being blasted by the players, they're being blasted by the coaches, they're getting threatened on the way out. I mean, I won't say it, but I've heard parents waiting for officials at the gate, right? I mean, we used to have a cop with them to carry them to the officials' changing room, whether it was basketball or football. But you've got officials who are saying, you know what, this $75, $85, $100 check, especially when I'm driving 90 miles one way to get to a game, isn't worth it. These officials are real workers in other areas. I mean, we have lawyers, we have doctors, we have city workers, we have teachers, we have former coaches. who are doing officials, and they're like, you know what? It's just not worth it anymore. So what we've seen the past 3 years is a huge decrease in the pool of officials to choose from. And I know for a fact, Pep, we talked about this after hours on Friday night, that there was a big-time game that had a staff of officials where only one of them had ever worked a Friday night game before their game Friday night. Only one. And, it used to be in the past, you have one young guy who they kind of started in middle school and they work their way up to Thursday JV games. And after a year or two, they start working, maybe a sideline guy or a back judge. And then you kind of work your way up. I mean, there are levels to the officiating crew. They're not all called referees, for the record. The referee is the big daddy. He's the white hat. He's the guy in charge. But you work your way up there. But what we're seeing is younger guys with less experience now being referees. You see younger guys having more control of a game than maybe they are ready for. And I think that it does hurt. I mean, you got guys who are still watching the play instead of watching their players. You have coaches all the time. They're yelling at the sideline judge because he's not calling the hold by the center. Well, that's not the sideline judge's call. That's not what he's looking at. That's not his job. But I think that we are seeing young officials, and I do think there needs to be some grace, and they're dealing with this whole dragonfly thing that Big Shelby had to worry about and the players had to worry about, and everybody knows how crazy that is. There's a lot more pressure on them because of video, right? I mean, a lot of officials got out of it because, they were making nightly news, going viral because of stuff that they did in a game.
Yep.
That's exactly what Amar's talking about there.
I agree with that one too, because I know you've seen that. You've seen that with basketball sometimes. Normally in basketball, you may have a set of officials for JV and girls basketball. Then they have a different set in for men's basketball, man. I agree with Kenneth. I really think COVID messed up a lot with those older officials because they didn't want to risk their health. They probably didn't want to keep wearing the mask, things like that. So now you get these younger guys. Younger guys like myself, you may not be able to take some of the things that the coaches are saying to you versus having thick skin of an older guy because you done heard a lot, you done been through a lot. So the younger referees, you may see them more prone to even fight coaches, try to get in altercation with players. So I think, and also you look at it too, the young guys or maybe older guys may say, hey, I ref through COVID, I did all this, I did all that, pay me more. So
they deserve to be paid more.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So you got referees, 60, 70-year-old men refereeing because for the love of the game, started when they was young, refereed during COVID, refereed during cold playoff games. And you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't take it if I was a ref. Like sometimes, like what you said, most referees that ref your high school games, they come all the time. You have a relationship with them. So I can yell at you knowing after the game, you know what I'm saying, I apologize. See you Saturday. Hey, I apologize. Things like that.
See you at church on Sunday.
Yeah, I see you at church. Hey, I apologize, man. It's nothing like that. We ref all the time. But then you have some of those young guys that come in trying to prove a point, trying to let them know it's a new sheriff in town. So they're quick to throw flags on certain stuff, and they just don't know how to take it, man. But I think it's just far as the new officials, man. I don't think there's no rules. I know in our first two home games, we had the first game against Case Mountain. Referee said, hey, the new rule is the players can be all the way down to the 10-yard line on the sideline. Then
because of the COVID rules.
But that was a COVID rule. But they came in just saying that rule is still in effect. Then our second game of the year, referee said, no. That's a COVID rule. So now the officiating is becoming inconsistent. You only seen it in 2 weeks. You see what I'm saying? So I can only imagine when you get to those bigger games and bigger environment, like heated games, like as a referee, you may be scared to make a call because you may think it's one of the rules and the OGs may think it's another rule. So, it's crazy, man.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great stuff, man. Super producer, Brandon, welcome to the show. We about done with the storyline. Is there anything you want to share on any of these topics right here?
Couple of them I just touched base on.
Okay.
I'm sure y'all got to the answer to this, but I was looking. Okay, Richmond and Shelby 0-2. Has it ever happened? I probably would have guessed sometime, maybe during World War II or something like that. That would have happened. That would have been my guess, maybe. Providence Day is for real, absolutely. There's no doubts about that. I don't think anyone can question that. Panic with Chambers loss? Absolutely not. They lost to a quality team out of state. There's no cause for panic when you lose to a great team and an out-of-state opponent at that. So it's not like someone you play year in and year out. So absolutely not. Chambers still talented. Catholic Hickory Ridge playoff rematch? Absolutely. Haven't been at that game. I would love to see that. And I think that, we always talk about rivalries and this and that, if that continues, if they meet up regularly, that that could generate into something. Rivalries, are they in name only? I would say some rivalries, the way I'm starting to see this, some rivalries are permanent, like when you have proximity, a Shelby, Kings Mountain, Shelby Crest, things like that, when you're in close proximity. And then some rivalries are just temporary. While two schools are on top, when they kind of go back and forth, one may kind of slide off, and then it's not really a rivalry anymore. If, once you get 10, 11 wins in a row, you can't necessarily call it a rivalry. So I don't think all rivalries are permanent. Some are. Some might be, go for a decade and then they run their course. So I don't think we can always look at a rivalry as something that's permanent. Sometimes it's a temporary thing. A few teams might meet a few years in a row in the playoffs, trading wins, and then it kind of ends. So I think a rivalry can end. It's not always permanent. And as far as the officiating goes, it's always something we've never really had to think about. We always just go to games, we play in games, we see them. It's referees just always there. We've never had to think about a shortage of them. It's almost like we were just kind of spoiled to it. But the reality is, no refs, no games. So that's just the sad truth. And if a shortage continues, if referees, start to decline to do it because of, little to no pay, getting, more, verbally, abused and stuff like that, then less refs would mean less games. So that's a reality we don't ever have to see. So could they be causing issues? Yes. I'll take a few bad calls here and there over no refs at all. I mean, if you just have to break it down into a choice there, but they'll get acclimated to it, hopefully. So, I think they should be appreciated because we don't have games without them. So that's what I got to say on it.
All right, very good, man. Breakdown was excellent there, super producer. I'm gonna go solo on this last one, guys. Y'all just give me 1 second here.
That's crazy.
I want to thank all of the athletic directors for all the hard work they put in every single week. You guys do an incredible job with not only, getting JV and varsity football together, but all of the other sports as well. Volleyball's going on, cross country's going on, tennis is going on, soccer is going on. And, you deserve to be treated with respect at all times. On the, let me say this the right way. All of us here at CFI totally respect all of you athletic directors for the incredible job you do. And we want to thank everyone that's ever worked on a chain crew, from a player to a parent to just a general fan, booster club member. You guys make it all happen. And you don't have to do it. You volunteer your time. Yes, you get to be on the field, but it's a thankless position sometimes. And, I just want to take a minute and say thank you to all athletic directors and chain crews. Without you guys, we wouldn't have games, obviously. And you're an important part of everything that happens on a football field. So I just want to take a special minute and say thank you to all those people that do that and help organize those things. I know it's hard. I was at Harding. I was at Waddell. We would have 20 fans in the stands sometimes, and you couldn't get, people in the stands to come down. They've paid their money to watch a game to come down and do the chains. So you have to get a younger JV player, or you have to get, some volunteers from the community, youth football kids, and the referees. We just talked about officials. They do a great job in coaching them what to do. So shout out to all you guys for the hard work you put in every week and the great job that you do. I don't think you hear that enough, and I just want to say thank you on behalf of the whole CFI staff right here.
Yeah, I'd like to give a special shout out to my athletic director and head football coach, Michael Wilbanks, man. I know he's not on no social media, but he does a lot, man, with balancing having to take his sons to school and then having to worry about football games and washing clothes and volleyball games and cross country meets all in the same week, man. You know, those guys, that guy right there does so much, just like any other AD does. They do so much, man. And a lot of them are behind the scenes. Some of them are still coaches at the end of the day. So, you know, they does a lot with having to balance all those things on a daily basis.
Absolutely. And, you know, you got, you know, different types of ADs. Some ADs are more active on social media. You got some ADs that like to be behind the scenes. I've worked with all kinds. Respect to all of you. You all do a great job, man.
Do they ask in Charlotte? Do a lot of coaches let the varsity guys do the JV chains?
Mm-hmm. Typically,
I mean,
some schools are more blessed with volunteers than others, but you know, most of Charlotte schools are hard to find volunteers. So yeah, the younger kids will do the chains. But, you know, for those parents and, you know, booster members and, you know, touchdown club members in some schools that step up and do that, shout out to you, man. You guys are awesome. It is hard to find volunteers in 2022. Not only COVID, but job loss and everything else going on, man. Thank you for your volunteerism and your hard work. Absolutely.
And let's add this in. You work in the chains. You can't just fall asleep over there. You got to pay attention.
Oh no,
you can't even really watch the game. To be honest with you, you're not really watching the game, but you're watching the game. Even if you know understand what I'm saying.
Right,
the chain crew guy, man. You have to be dialed in. Got to be ready to go, especially in them big games, man. Every inch matters, man, and they're gonna blame you. Every inch matters.
Getting yelled at by the linesman. Come on, let's go. Don't move. Wait. Coaches yelling at you. Get out of their way.
Well, I think there's a misconception out there, maybe that you just standing there relaxing and just holding the stick. No, not at all. So yeah, definitely they deserve all the props you giving them.
Especially if you're a chain crew for one of them hurry up offenses, man. You got to be ready to move, man. You got to be ready to go, man.
Whenever I end CFI, I'm gonna be on the chain crew for a hurry up offense to keep me in shape when I'm older. Good gracious, yeah, that's a good point, boy. Get my steps in. All right. Anyway, let's go to the Dirty Dozen.
What everybody come to see, baby.
Woo!
Sponsored by the Queen City Senior Bowl. The Dirty Dozen. This week we have Providence Day at 1, Chambers 2, Huff 3, Butler 4, Charlotte Catholic 5, Mallet Creek at 6, Weddington 7, Kings Mountain 8, Charlotte Christian at 9, RGKL 10, Porter Ridge 11, Burns 12, and on the edge we got Hickory Ridge, South Point, Monroe, Independence, and Cox Mill making their first appearance on the Dirty Dozen slide. What are your thoughts?
I do think the first two teams are the best teams in Charlotte. I will say that. I really do believe that. I don't think they ever get to play each other in 11 on 11. I don't think they ever get to go head to head, but those two are really good teams. I like having Burns in there, even though, you know, they putting on for the two-way schools, even though we're not taking care of business right now, but they're putting on for the two-way in Cleveland County with Kings Mountain 8. I know those two teams play each other, so it'll be some moving up and down with 8 and 12, depending on who wins and who loses. Derek, look, Derek, man, Pepman take time out his hard-earned day to get these things in order, man. It just how it goes, man. Some teams 2-0, some teams 1-1, man. It don't matter who you play.
He was a Mallet Creek guy 2 weeks ago, right?
Yes.
And Mallet Creek moved up after getting beat.
That's what I'm saying. Mallet Creek get their head smacked and they moved up. See, Pep, you can't please everybody.
I don't know what to do, man. I don't know. The state has forgotten Mallet Creek has existed. Every poll has Mallet Creek gone because they played a nationally ranked program in Georgia. It is the craziest thing to me.
You got to endure all that travel and things like that, man.
Let's some more.
I mean, I think it's kind of a.
He said they want to be top 5, Pep. That's all.
This just
man.
It's hard to gauge for me. Just my own opinion. It's not Pepman opinion. It's my opinion. It's hard for me to really place Mallet Creek because they won against Myers Park and then
21-3, big.
Right. Then the second game, like you say, nationally ranked team. It's hard to really gauge where to put them right now. I need to see just a couple more weeks.
I would say, Brandon, the piggyback on that, Mallet Creek has a big opportunity this Friday against South Point.
Huge.
I really think
Yep.
Mallet Creek, I don't know who's going to win. I'm not going to pick no team because it's not on there. But
that's on our. Oh, that's our game previews.
I think if Mallet Creek can beat South Point, they have to be top 3. If they beat the number 1 ranked team in South Carolina, they got to move up to top 3. Now, that's just Big Web vouching for Mallet Creek because I got some guys over there that I know that played there. So I'm just saying. Now, I don't know who else plays each other from 1 through 5. But in Mallet Creek,
there's some good games this week.
Mallet Creek beats South Point.
1 and 5 are playing.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's going to move anyway. I'm saying right now, probably.
I think is this the week Huff plays Cox Mill as well? Is that
I think that's next week. I think Huff's on a bye this week.
This is a great opportunity. You say 1 plays 5 and 8 plays 12. So it's going to be some moving up and down this list, man. So,
absolutely. All right, we got let's see. Chat administrator, he says he would flip 3 and 4. The rest of that looks pretty solid. Hashtag Pep is mostly right. Okay. I wonder why you would flip 3 and 4.
Who did Huff play this past week? I haven't really been hearing nothing about Huff. Who did they play last week?
Ask Kyle.
They played Morrisville? I didn't know.
The rivalry, man. The rivalry.
There's no rivalry there.
Don't be calling them medium Mooresville there, Big Shelby.
I didn't know that.
Joe, whose thoughts on rankings? Everyone wants to be number 1. I just put rankings and picks out and drink them. Well, I'm not gonna say what's in this Bojangles cup, but hey.
Sierra,
we'll try that strategy, Joe.
Sierra, next slide.
Let's see. Chat administrator says Cox Mill will crack the top 12 by season's end. Mark it down.
Good.
I will tell you this right here.
I know Shelby I will be in that top 5 by the end of the year. Tell you that.
Okay, but I'll say this about Cox Mill. They were impressive, man. I mean, they were impressive. And, I know sometimes our rankings motivate people, but they were super impressive against Northwest Cabarrus. And trust me, they're on this slide, and they're going to be on the next slide, too, because they deserve
How good is Northwest, Kenneth?
They deserve it.
Northwest has a quarterback that started since he was a freshman. I get confused when you play for so long. I can't remember if he's a junior or a senior. They have an extremely talented offensive skill set, and I believe that Cox Mill shut them out the other night. So, Cox Mill made definitely a statement, man, that they're a good football team, and they've always been. I remember a certain coach in the area who's a pretty good coach whose team is on this list right here. Me and him talked several years ago when that job opened up that, Cox Mill is a diamond in the rough kind of team. They've always had pretty good talent. It was just being able to fit all those pieces together, and they could be a potential deep playoff run every single year kind of team. I mean, they're in the perfect spot. They have money. They have a very diverse background of kids. And even more so, they get a lot of kids that transfer out of CMS, for years they would get those Mallet Creek kickbacks who maybe were the 3rd team at Mallet Creek when they were winning state championships, and they would transfer in to Cox Mill and be really good players for them. They're pretty sticking good, though. Cox Mill, absolutely. It wouldn't be surprising to me to see them on this list very soon.
Absolutely, man. Nah, Damien, it's just water. I'm just messing, man. It's just water in the cup. I wouldn't do that. All right. Let's see. Joe Hughes, I like the versatility Cox Mill has on both sides of football. Absolutely. That is for sure. I think this is a Mario Clark. Good comment here. Shelby's in the top 5. Burns is number 1 at the end of the year. Mr. Big Shelby. Big Shelby, what you got to say to that?
Mario, man, and look, I ain't going to say nothing because y'all 2-0 right now, man. I hope y'all get the dub against Kings Mountain. But we do know what that showdown is going to be like, that last game of the year for the conference championship. We already know. It's already set in stone. We already know. But, I have no problem with Burns being number 1, man, if they end up being number 1. I mean, I'm all for two-way love in this. If you see, there's no 2A teams in here, but it's only been Shelby and Burns. You
That's
know, so
true.
I'm all for
That is true.
Burns, man. I like how Burns play, man. They playing very fast and very physical this year. So I hope they can take care of business Friday, man.
All right.
And Coach Devine coached me, man. So I'm all for Coach Devine, man.
Patrick C's talking about Porter Ridge. Been impressive so far. What do you say? They haven't given up a point?
Pep, I think it's 72-0. They've outscored their opponents this season in the first two
Gracious.
games. They played West Cabarrus and
Rocky River.
Rocky River. That's it.
Well, they got some tests coming up then. Hickory Ridge.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. We used to call it the exam time. So it's exam time for Porter Ridge, Hickory Ridge, and Cardinal Gibbons next 2 weeks.
But, once again, another example of teams ducking no smoke, right? I mean, look at that schedule coming up. Good night. Man, this is what we've been wanting to see in North Carolina football for a long time. The best playing the best.
Yep. I think Porter Ridge has been, even though they've been good and late, man, I think a lot of people may be knocking them because of the schedule in past years. So I think they're doing that to show people like, hey, man, we deserve to have higher seeds, more home games in the playoffs, man. So,
and that's a good point. This scheduling in the RPI system, it's very important because when you get down to those playoff seeds, if you're on that borderline and you've played a good schedule, we've seen that put some teams into the playoffs last year that didn't have very impressive records. But on the flip side of that, you had teams that were, better record-wise, but they were out because they didn't play a strong schedule. Let's see here. I'm coming to it, Aaron. I'm coming to the JV.
Chevy versus Chris. Chevy's
Hold
first JV game.
No, they weren't on the ballot, man. We put 4 on the Instagram story.
Oh my gosh,
and
man.
I will share
that. The guy
bit.
only Kenneth and the McClellan boys, only people come show us big love and Shelby and stay the whole game, man.
He had to add that last part in there and stay the whole game.
I mean, Kenneth, if you would have left, you would have never seen the fireworks, would you?
I mean, it's true.
Look, man, it was 68-0 in the third quarter. Look, man, it was the game was in hand, man.
Now, in fairness, producer, in fairness, Pep, the McClellan boys will not leave until they cut the lights off on the field. So we always literally shut the place down. So.
Well, man, I'll be honest. I was hungry. I tried to get a liver mush sandwich at halftime, but the line was too long, so I had to leave and get something to eat, man. I mean, good gracious.
Should have texted me. I would have sent the text to the guy in the concession stands. I'd have got 3 or 4 liver mush sandwiches.
Well, let's set that up later in the season. Do y'all play Burns at home?
Nah, we gotta go over to Lawndale.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll get out there at some point. All right. These comments are crazy, man. Okay. Karen Belkin put this one up. West Charlotte might be motivated by not being at least on the edge. Won 40-7 last week with Sam Griner back. Well, I mean, West Charlotte did move up in a ranking, the CMS Best of Last, which is coming up here just shortly. So stay tuned for that. Okay, let's go to the county rankings. We had to make some changes on that as well. Okay, Mecklenburg County, you see you got Providence Day, Chambers, Huff, and Butler. Pretty much the same from the Dirty Dozen. Upstate South Carolina, we still got South Point at number 1. We got Northwestern at 2. And I think in the South Carolina 4A rankings, this is the same ranking. I think they're 1 and 2 in that. Yeah, and as well. Indian Land 3, Catawba Ridge 4 with their win over Myers Park 16-0 last week. Indian Land comes to Charlotte this week. They play Palisades, so pretty cool little matchup right there. Gaston County, we got South Point at 1. Ashbrook, oh man, we all missed that. We get to the predictions, we all missed that one against TC Roberson last week. But I still got them at 2. Mountain Island got on the board with their win over Corvian. They're at 3, and Stuart Kramer at 4. Big passing night from Justin Rock.
Wait. You said we all missed which one?
Ashbrook.
I had Ashbrook in that one.
They lost.
Oh.
Exactly. That's the point he was trying to make.
Sorry, Green Wave. I missed that one. I was pulling for you.
Cleveland County, we got Kings Mountain at 1. Burns 2, Shelby 3, Chris 4. Union County, we got Weddington at 1.
Whoa. I'm just playing. This is not my ranking.
Go ahead, Big Shelby. Go ahead.
I'm always gonna say we best team down here.
As you should. As you should, man.
But like I said, it's gonna be one plays 2 and 3 plays 4. So I'm sure it's gonna be a flip flop by this time next week. So
absolutely. Union County, Weddington at 1, Porter Ridge 2, Monroe 3, Forest Hills at 4. And then Cabarrus County, Hickory Ridge at 1, Cox Mill. I'm sorry, Cox Mill. I'm sorry. You made your point. I got you at 2. J.M. Robinson at 3, and Mount Pleasant at 4. All right. What do you guys think?
I like J.M. over Cox Mill.
Big Shelby said that. Cox Mill. It wasn't me.
Fine with me. I'm always gonna root for the two-way guys.
I think that J.M. Robinson is still working through some things. They got some young guys playing in some really important positions that they're trying to figure out. They're going to be okay. I mean, their defensive front is pretty stinking good. Their box players are good. Mount Pleasant, very impressive. Mount Pleasant definitely deserving of that number 4 seed or 4 ranking in Cabarrus County. Of course, Hickory Ridge, man. I mean, overtime thriller with Catholic. They're 1-1. Could have been 2-0. And of course, we've talked about Cox Mill already. 2-0. They're the darling right now in Cabarrus County, and they should be. They're playing super good football. It'll be interesting to see this week, especially with Monroe and Porter Ridge, how that kind of starts to develop. I mean, we know that Weddington has been the big dog now for a couple of years, but Monroe is having a heck of a year. Forest Hills is on the upbeat. And then, of course, Mecklenburg County, man. I mean, forever and ever and ever, you would have gotten a lot of kickback if you would have said Providence Day was the best team around. But, they beat Weddington. It was a statement game for them. And, of course, Chambers lost to an out-of-state team in a really, really, really close game. I don't know if, this is going to be necessarily how all these rankings end up 8 weeks from now, and 12 weeks from now, and 14 weeks from now. But right now, this is a pretty good ranking there, Pep.
I mean, I think with Mecklenburg, I don't think Providence Day is going to lose this year. I don't think Chambers is going to lose again. So, I think those two might stay there for a while, man.
Absolutely. Let's see here. And Kyle's chat administrator's Iredale rankings. Now, he only did 4 this week. I'm proud of him. So he says Lake Norman, Mooresville, South Iredale, big win over Statesville, and then Pine Lake at 4.
Ooh, man, showing Coach Trotter some love on the gray field.
I think Coach Trotter will like that.
Statesville lost to South Iredale?
Yes. 29-13. 80 yards of offense for Statesville.
Go prep, Big Web.
You gotta know what you're talking about, baby.
That wasn't in the pick 'em.
No, it was not. Let's see. Joe Hughes just leave gassing at 1 team. God, Lord, Joe. Come on, man.
My man, Joe, man. They love Joe, man. Joe just keep it real. One thing about Joe, he's gonna keep it real. He don't pick no sides, man. He gonna keep it. He gonna call it right down the middle.
All right. Well, that's Joe Hughes. Gaston Gazette. You can find him over there. Chat administrator, not so sure Cox Mill isn't the best in Cabarrus County right now. I can see that. They're playing really well. Gene Neely, Stuart Kramer at 4 is a toss-up. Toss-up with who? Who else should we consider at 4 in Gaston County? Let me know, Gene. Also, Joe, Central Cabarrus lost to Mount Pleasant and J.M. Robinson to start. It's 2 tough opponents. Yep. Agree with that. Let's see right here. Kaye says Mount Pleasant is a real good team, and Hickory Ridge with Diggy and Jalen at wide receiver is elite. Oh, yes. I mean, those two.
Do you want to know who's the number 2 receivers in the state right now?
I got a pretty good guess.
You want to go off numbers?
Why don't you just share it with us, Big Shelby?
Well, Jakeem Hamilton and Isaiah Bridges, man.
Yes, I saw that. I saw that.
Would have never thought you'd say that, man.
Man, somebody got to give my guy some love somehow, man.
Didn't see that one coming.
All right, Joe's Gaston rankings. He has South Point 1 and tied for second Hunter Huss and Ashbrook. And then 4, he's got Mountain Island Charter. Now, Hunter Huss won a shootout with High Brighton. I think it was 49-42 to get their first win on the season, which, kudos to Hunter Huss and Coach Thompson, man. Great guy. We had him on the show before. That's a big win for that program. I know some people, have been kind of hard on Huss because they've been down, but, they've been really, really young. And
they lose a lot of kids. They've been losing a lot of kids, man. So,
Yeah.
Coach Thompson doing the best he can with what he got, man.
Yeah. Okay, so here's Gene. So Gene says Huss should be at 4. They lost to Hickory Ridge and beat High Brighton. Well, that High Brighton team is not the typical High Brighton that we've known and loved over the past few years.
And it was a pretty lopsided score with Hickory Ridge, right?
Yeah, I think it was 45-0 was the final in that one. So, like we always talk about, you can prove it with your pads. Cox Mill has definitely done that. Some other teams have done that, and they played their way on and up, in the rankings. So, if Hunter Huss, wants to get there, they've got the opportunity to get there. They got athletes. Yeah, we talked about their running back, Darius Headley. He's one of the best running backs around that most people don't know about. He is a talented young man. All right. I see your comment, Gene. We'll come back to that. We were way behind schedule, but it's been an awesome show. Let's go to the CMS Best of Last, the first poll that has always caused controversy over the years. All right, so we got the top 10: 1 Chambers, 2 Huff, 3 Butler, 4 Mallet Creek, 5 Audrey Kill, 6 Independence, 7 Olympic, 8 Providence, 9 West Meck, and number 10 West Charlotte. And then you see who's on the right side of the screen right there. Coach B.D. Waddell said they were going to be in the top 10 this week.
Called it.
Coach, you in the top 10, man. You earned it. That was an impressive win over Berry to go to 2-0 on the season. What do you guys think about this?
We got to move Gander up the list, man. You got to move him up for Billups, man.
What's your reason?
Billups. He just said it.
Yeah, you got to do it for Billups, man. Got to do it for Billups, man.
Now we love the illustrious, and we had a family conversation last week, and we got through all of that, but
there ain't no nepotism on this show.
That's right. We're fair and we're not biased. Down the middle. CFI.
Your top 5 is, man, that's good football. Independence sneaking in there 2-0, playing huge right now.
Mm-hmm.
Olympic, even losing some of the younger players, Olympic still getting it done. Providence, the running back, 300-plus yards rushing. Holy cow. And you got the West Side teams, Meck and Charlotte, man. Those are 10 really good football teams, Pep. And, there might be some movement. There probably will be some movement as the season goes. But once again, we have 2 weeks to go off of. And through the first 2 weeks, it's tough to argue against any of those left-sided teams. Does Myers Park stay at number 12? I would probably guess not. We talked about that growing pains of just 4 coaches in 4 years or whatever the heck it is, and all the issues that the Coach McManus is having to deal with. Those guys aren't going to end on the right side. I just don't see that happening. North Meck, who is the real North Meck right now? We still have a lot of questions about them. We know that they have super talented players. But are they going to be able to put it all together week after week after week, especially once they get into their conference play, which is just through the roof? South Meck, man, it's been a while since we've seen South Meck on that right side. And then let's be honest, man, it's been a while since we've seen Hopewell as high as number 14. So can Coach Gentry continue to build that program up and continue to take strides in the right direction? And then how about, man, stinking Palisades, man? I mean, move it up like crazy as a first-year program, number 15 in the county. I mean, good for them. And then some teams who I think are battling and fighting extremely hard at the bottom. A new coach at Rocky River who is trying to continue to build that program up. And, of course, a new coach this season at Hardin, and the list just goes on. One thing's for sure, that these coaches are working extremely hard. They're watching their film, they're prepping, they're game planning, they're practice planning, they're templating it up, and none of them want to be where they currently are, right? I mean, they all want to throw this list away and just be them and be 1-0 come Friday night. But I think it's a pretty good list, Pep. I really do.
I appreciate that. Good stuff, guys. Let's see. Summer Blevins, West Met going to keep climbing too. Well, they've got the opportunity. I think a lot of people, may not be aware of what's over there. I think they, I say this a lot about, every team in Charlotte. Every team in Charlotte has, some players that can play at the top end level. It's the left side and the right side. The difference usually is about depth. If some of that top end talent gets hurt, do they have someone else that can come in and, play at, somewhat of a similar level until, that top end talent can get back? Maurice Macon, Barry has talent. They just really need to pull it together for 4 quarters.
Goes back to the depth.
Yeah, exactly. And, I was at Barry preseason. I interviewed, I believe, Cam Macon's your son, Maurice. He's a very talented young man. Quarterback, Demetrius Hargroves, really talented young man. Tyler Perkins, plays some DB, and he's playing some running back as well. Really talented young men over there. And hopefully, they're able to do that. So that's this week's CMS Best to Last. All these will get posted to all social medias, and then we await with bated breath your feedback on those posts. By me, don't go after nobody else.
You should set up a special email just for hate mail, and just post.
Well, it's funny you say that, producer. It's funny you say that because. I am going to post that email here. Just give me 1 second. And I'm going to post it. And you can send your email to this email and get all of your comments out. And we'll read these on a weekly basis. So.
Just kind of like a celebrities reads mean tweets kind of deal?
pepiswrong@gmail.com. Make sure you send all CFI hate mail to that email address. We'll read the best ones on a weekly basis and make sure that your voice is heard, because we hear all the great comments and, we hear some of the not good ones. But this gives you a chance to be unedited and be totally yourself. pepiswrong@gmail.com.
Unedited.
Your comments, the best ones will be read moving forward on Football Focus Weekly. All right. Thank you, Derek. I appreciate that. At least we got something right. There. Okay. All right. So let's move on. We're gonna talk about Week 3 games, and we're gonna preview these as quickly as we can because we are way behind schedule. Good gracious. All right. So now, Providence Day in the big showcase game. They are hosting Charlotte Catholic this week. We've talked about it a little bit already. My thought real quick, Charlotte Catholic, I think they got to be old school Catholic, man. 90% run, pound, first downs, move the chains, keep the clock moving, minimize Providence Day's possessions. Providence Day, open that thing up, man. If I'm Chad Greer, I'm going empty 5 wide. The Catholic pass defense and producer, you can probably attest to this. The Catholic pass defense was in rough shape, man. We saw, Caden Haywood, Hickory Ridge quarterback, have a big game throwing the football. We talked about Jalen Harris and Christian Hamilton. I think for your Providence Day, you open that thing up, let Jayden Davis be who he is, a great star quarterback, and let those guys on the outside and Goodwin and Ship and Chris Peel go to work, man. Kenneth, how would you attack a Charlotte Catholic defense if you had those weapons.
Well, yeah, Pep, in my show prep for this week's show, I was doing some research on these two teams, and this is what I realized. Providence Day is now outscoring teams 94-39 through the first 2 weeks. So do the math. That's well over 45 points a game that they're averaging. But, of course, quarterback Jayden Davis, one of the top quarterbacks in the nation in his class, has thrown for over 700 yards in his first 2 games. That's over 3. I think it's like right at it was like 699 yards. I guess I think is what it actually is. But 700 yards in 2 games. He's got stud receivers all over the place. You know, when you have athletes, you want to use your athletes to out-athlete the other team. And so if I'm Coach Greer, I'm throwing sideline to sideline. I'm making those Catholic defenders run from sideline to sideline. And, of course, we all know that field is 120 yards, about 53 1/3 yards long. I'm making him defend the whole thing. I'm going to take shots over top, and I'm going to hurry it up, come back, and throw it to the sidelines. To shots over the top. When you got dudes, you can do that kind of stuff. And that's what I think I see them doing. You know, Charlotte Catholic is 2-0, but, you know, they're only outscoring their margin of victory so far 76-60. You know, they've played 2 pretty tight games, including overtime thriller. It'll be interesting to see as much tradition, as much pride, as much experience as Charlotte Catholic has. It'll be interesting to see how they respond to that overtime win versus Hickory Ridge, how worn out they were. I mean, those kids had to be tired on Saturday, first week of school this week. Interesting to see how those kids respond coming back to school this week. But, you know, I see Providence Day continuing to air it out. I mean, that's who Chad Greer is, man. I mean, all of his quarterbacks ain't in record books for nothing. I mean, you know, 700 yards in a game and some threw for at one time. That's what they do.
Big Shelby, how do you stop Providence Day on defense?
I think you just got to hope Jayden Davis gets sick, and you got to hope that you got to hope the quarterback gets sick. You got to hope some coaches get fired or something like that. That offense, that offensive attack is amazing, man. Like I'm telling you, man, if he might have career numbers Friday night. That's all. Just based off the data that's been presented about pass defense as a weakness, I'm sure they're gonna come out 5 wide and they're gonna do all this kind of stuff, man. So I mean, if I'm Charlotte Catholic, I'm just trying to limit possessions as much as possible. If I'm them on offense, I'm trying to hold the ball as long as possible and not allow Providence Day to stay on the field on offense.
I mean, I remember one time, you know, we were severely overmatched in a game, and we just we called it a delay offense, where we would literally wait. Like at the end of a game, you wait till the back judge puts his hand up, then we would snap the ball every time just to try to get time off the clock and, you know, try to find a way to, you know, just stay in it. But I don't know if Catholic will go to that extreme, but Michael McCarver, OG, what's up, man? I'm gonna tell you this though about the atmosphere. I expect that atmosphere to be crazy. I think there's gonna be 1 million people over there. I can tell y'all now. I think Zayflix is coming. So y'all know if Zayflix is coming, it's gonna be fire. So hopefully, you know, they'll have something to cheer about for a while. But that's our thoughts on Providence Day Catholic. All right, Mallet Creek at South Point, another big game right here. You look at Mallet Creek, they're coming off the national, you know, game against Beaufort. You know, it was a tough game. But, you know, South Point in their own right, like we said earlier, #1 ranked in South Carolina. They're going on the road once again. You know, another great offense in South Point, you know, Coach Q, Coach Wright. We know him as Coach Q. Down up real strong for those guys. They're 2-0. Kenneth, I'm going to come back to you. For South Point, how do you attack an athletic and talented Mallet Creek defense?
I think South Point is just as athletic as anybody that's going to play, if not more, man. You've seen that week 1 against Gaffney. Gaffney is known for having athletes of speed. South Point is just faster than fast. So Mallet Creek, you got to try to do your best of limited possessions, and South Point offense is going to move fast. So you got to get lined up. You got to have a base defense call for everything and just try to do the best you can. But South Point, they're going to run the screen game. They're going to run quick game. And, you know, so you got to do what you got to do, man. I mean, I think it's going to be speed all around the field, but South Point is one of the fastest teams that I've seen or win against. So,
Well, the question though, I think Mallet Creek can match, that speed on defense. I mean, they got some incredible talent over there. So, I mean, if you feel like you can match up, what's your game plan on defense?
you got to make them. You got to make them throw the short stuff. Don't give up no big plays. Don't give up no big plays. Keep everything in front of you. Rally to the football. That's what I mean. That's just simply what your game plan got to be. You got to be able to tackle in space. You can't. It's not one of those games where the first man gets there. He got to make the tackle, or at least hold him up till everybody else get there.
Well said. Well said. Go ahead, Kenneth. What you got?
I think you guys just hit on it. I mean, you've got two fairly evenly matched athletic teams, right? I mean, both teams has dudes everywhere. One place that I do see a potential advantage, and everyone knows I love the South Point Stallions. I mean, not just Q's down there, but you got Coach Van Horn down there as well. Is Mallet Creek's size. Mallet Creek is big. And South Point, not throwing shade, South Point is not as big up front. If I'm Mallet Creek, my plan is I'm going to go in there and I'm going to try to play big boy ball with them. I'm going to try to run it. I'm going to try to force it down their throat. I'm going to try to see if they can match up with me, not just for a series or a quarter, but I want to see if they can do it for a half and 3 quarters. And then see in the fourth quarter, once again, talking about depth and all those kinds of things, if I can wear them down and make a play. If I'm Mallet Creek, what I'm telling my kids this week is it's going to come down to the last play of the game, and we need to make sure that we're in position to win that last play of the game. And that's how I'm selling it to my kids if I'm Coach Tinsley.
Great comment right here from Kaye Sace. I won't read all of that, but, basically to sum that up, mixing up man and zone. And yeah, definitely that. Like we talked about, the size advantage up front. I think Mallet Creek exactly they got to pound the football. That's who they are. That's how they beat Myers Park with that.
I don't think anybody sits in.
Tomar Bivens, running back from Mallet Creek. I think he's going to be really important. And then if they can get South Point in 8-man fronts, take your shots over the top. They got playmakers on the outside. We've seen that.
And the slots.
Yes. So, I think this is a great chess match with formation and then matchups, especially on the Mallet Creek offensive side. If they're able to run the football well, come off the football and get nasty. But I will tell you this. I had a great big offensive line at Harding, when we were featured on the front of the Charlotte Observer. We had great size. We built those guys in the weight room. But the one thing that scared me was a super fast defense, because we would work our combos. We'd try to get next level. And we played Charlotte Catholic for first place. And they put together a great blitzing scheme. They were twisting and stunting and all kind of things. And they were so daggone fast. We were a zone scheme. We couldn't get to where we needed to go to execute. So I think if you're South Point, that's your answer to a big, strong, physical offensive line. You got to be faster than them. You got to be smarter than them, and then you read your tendencies, hit those gaps, and then try to blow things up before they get started.
Yeah, and last, if I'm Coach Tinsley, I'm telling the quarterback, Willard, this is why you came to us, man. This is why you came to Mallet Creek, to play in this game right here. And it's time for you to step up. It's time for you to make your name known. If Mallet Creek beats South Point, Willard will be a household name around the state. And that's what I'm telling them.
Well, that's a very good point. That is a very good point for sure. And that game is at South Point. That's a 7:30 start in South Carolina. All right, another big game. We got the Battle of the Ridges. We talked about this last year. Why are we always daggone school?
Everybody's a Ridge.
Man? What the world, man? We got a Hickory Ridge. We got a Porter Ridge. We got a Marvin Ridge. Catawba Ridge. Let's be a little more creative in these school names. Anyway, great matchup on the field. Hickory Ridge going up against Porter Ridge. Obviously, with Hickory Ridge, you think about stopping Porter Ridge on the defensive side of things when they run that triple option. There we go. And flip side for Porter Ridge, you got to have a plan to slow down that great passing attack now with Jalen Harris and Christian Hamilton, Caden Haywood, throwing the football really well. All right, so Big Shelby, how do we stop the triple option that Porter Ridge employs so well.
Don't give away any secrets.
Basics.
You got to hit the fullback. Every play, you have to make sure you get your end squeeze and if they have dive. When they have dive, the ends got to take care of the dive. The way we do it, lineman has dive. Your outside guys have quarterback. You got to be disciplined, man. The only way you're going to be a trip out, only way you're going to have a chance to beat a trip option team is if you stay disciplined. Everybody has to do their job. You can't try to, if you have quarterback, you can't try to go get the pitch. You got to do your job and do your responsibility, man. That's the only thing. And you got to do it for 4 quarters. And you got to do it for every play you're out there because you can be up on the triple option team and people start being lazy. They can start gashing you and scoring in a quick way, man. I'm not sure why teams still run triple option, but if that's what's best for you, what best for you. And it's tough to stop, man, if you don't have the guys disciplined enough to stop the triple option.
Well, I can tell you this, Big Shelby. Porter Ridge said they still run the triple option because they've outscored opponents 92-0 through the first 2 games. It's very difficult to stop. It's very difficult to game plan for. It's very difficult in practice on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday to see at game speed what you're going to see on Friday night. And, Porter Ridge has been very successful over the years, going all the way back to Coach Harden being there over a decade ago, running this. And I don't know if they still run the pistol triple like they did when I was at Central. We scrimmaged them one year, but they're very good at it. My question is, at 92-0, outscoring your opponents, have they really played anyone of the caliber of Hickory Ridge? Hickory Ridge, of course, we've talked about. They beat up on Hunter Huss week 1. They lost in an overtime thriller to Charlotte Catholic. They are tried and true. Their kids have already been through the ringer. Their kids have already experienced an incredible atmosphere, an incredible game. It'll be interesting to see this week how Porter Ridge players handle that. The game is at Porter Ridge, which is a benefit to them. Hickory Ridge has to make that trip up to Union County. But this is another great game, another interesting game.
Yep, I think you hit the nail on the head, Ken. It's very hard to get your kids to try to prepare and run that offense that they do. So it's the toughest thing about going against triple option teams is not even Friday night. It's about doing things to lead up to Friday night because you don't have the guys don't want to sit there and take a dive and get killed every play or be the pitch man and have to worry about getting your helmet knocked off. So it's so tough to prepare for, man. And like you said, you can't simulate what you're going to see on Friday.
Okay.
Well said. And then the and this is, I was getting ready to say this right here. You on point next
every year.
Yes, their linebacking core is experienced, smart, physical,
mean.
Jordan Wilkes, Luke Gilbertson, Kyle Perry, Vincent Tudors, very physical guys and talented guys. So talk about discipline in that option offense. Now, Porter Ridge, they don't run that exclusively. They mix in some spread. They've got a quarterback, Damian Jackson, Jared Lockhart, formerly at West Meck, tall kid, looks real good in the pocket. He's running that offense really well. So they're more than the triple. Now, triple is their base, and they do it from gun. It's not the old school, triple from eye, that we, used to know back in the day. So really, really great matchup. I'll be interested to see how Porter Ridge does handle adversity, because Hickory Ridge is a lot better team than they've played so far. And that's going to be the big key. How do they bounce back from when they get hit in the mouth? Because they hadn't been hit in the mouth.
Going back to what Big Shelby was saying a little bit ago about playing that gap integrity. When we went up against triple option teams throughout the week, we would have a little period. We called it cards and cans, where we would make sure our defense was aligned versus the offensive formation, that kind of stuff, tendencies. But we did it without a football to make sure that all of our players were reading their run keys and fitting where they were supposed to fit. We did it without a football. We had the offensive players go through the motions, but we didn't want our defensive players having their eyes where they weren't supposed to be. So that gap integrity is going to be key for Hickory Ridge.
Absolutely. All right, we talked a little bit about it earlier. West Charlotte, 1-1 on the season, going on the road to take on 2-0 Independence. Big game here in the city. Oh, I'm sorry. Burns, Kings Mountain. That's a little bit of an important game. All right, let's talk about it. Burns, they've been really, really impressive on the offensive side of football. Quarterback Ben Mooney throwing the football all over the place. L.J. Allen, big-time wide receiver, has been putting up some big numbers. And then Kings Mountain with a varied attack on offense. Lamont Littlejohn at quarterback. He's an athletic kid. Big offensive line coming off the football. Physical on the defensive line. A.J. Richardson, a key player for them. Big Shelby, obviously, you've got the knowledge on Cleveland County. What can you say about it?
I think if Burns wants to win this game, Burns has to make them. They have to stop the run and make them throw the ball. Kings Mountain has to establish the run. That way, they keep you on your toes, so they'll be able to open up the passing game. It's going to be a very physical game up front. Burns' defense is very fast and physical, and Kings Mountain has a lot of speed at receiver in their skill positions. It's going to be a good game, man. Both teams are 2-0, so they can kind of take the bragging rights of calling themselves the best team in the county this year. Up until like I say, you won't see another Cleveland County game to the end of the year. So it's one of those where it's very big for Burns starting out 2-0, Kings Mountain's 2-0. So it'd be a very good physical football game. You have a lot of kids that are very familiar with each other, and Burns can attack you with different ways. They run it back. Mookie is very fast. He's small but very fast and very shifty. Like you said, Burns has multiple weapons at receiver with Ryan Thompson, who had 1,500 yards last year, and you have L.J. Allen. And they have a lot of guys like Kings Mountain can mix up multiple running backs, multiple receivers to keep everybody fresh. So it's gonna be a very good action-packed game, and you have to try to lock in. It's not won in the first quarter. Burns coming off a huge win over Crest, so I know those guys are very pumped and I think they feel like this year is their year to beat everybody. They're gonna try to handle business every Friday.
So my question is, the Burns offensive line, can they give Mooney enough time to go down the field to those great targets you talked about on the outside for Burns? And does he have enough time to hit that in the vertical passing game, or does he have to get the ball out quick and try to let those guys go to work one-on-one in space?
Well, the way Kings Mountain plays defense, Kings Mountain wants you to throw the short stuff so they can use their speed to come up and tackle you, like you said. But the biggest thing going to be one in the trenches. Does Burns have enough skill at offensive line in order to block A.J. Richardson and that defense end? I forgot his name, number 33, but Kings Mountain has some great pieces on their defensive line, man. They're very smart. They're very well coached. Coach Kennedy coached them guys very well. They're very disciplined. Yep. They will put their foot back in the ground when they see screen and turn and run and help make plays on the perimeter. So, it's going to be one in the trenches, man. I think A.J. Richardson can control the game up front. So Burns have to do a good job of blocking AJ. It's Curtis, and it's another one. Curtis wears number 9. It's another defensive end. It's number 33. I can probably pull his name up here in a second, but there's all of those guys up front, man. They're very good up front, man. They're well coached, and so I think it's gonna be a very good. It's definitely gonna be a big battle in the trenches.
I was trying to go to Max Preps and look, but they've got a server error. Thank you, Max Preps. That's great. Anyway, number 33 will get your name, man. I'll make sure you get some love, man, for sure. All right, now, jump the gun a little bit. West Charlotte at Independence. 1-1 West Charlotte. Coach Griner leading those guys on the road. Traditional Charlotte. Is it a rivalry?
It was at one point. I don't know that we speak on it as a rivalry. Like it was sort of in the the 90s or whatever. But the rivalry can come back. So we'll see. It could build up to a rivalry again.
Well, I remember Coach Griner wanted this game. I remember back, I think it might have been a year, 2 years ago on social media that he was saying that let's play. It'd be great for the city, and they were able to get it done. So you start looking at this game. I talked about this game a little bit on the Gym podcast powered by ESPN 730 earlier this evening. The big thing for Independence is they got to, control the West Charlotte attacking defense. They are very aggressive. Coach Griner and Coach Mike Rose do a great job with scheming that up. They got to know where number 4 is, Jaden Smith, at all times, because he can, wreck an offense. He's really fast off the edge. He's impressive. But they got to have a plan for the blitz. Coach Griner's most successful teams throughout his career, They've been aggressive. They get you. They stop you before they get started. They're gonna have they have a good scheme in for that for sure. And we know DJ will do his work and have those guys prepared. On the other side of things, West Charlotte offensively, they got a pretty good size offensive line. It looks like they've moved Caleb Behringer, number one, to quarterback, and he is a fast kid. If he gets outside the pocket, he can make some big plays. And then they've got a couple good running backs that can play off of that. So, I think for Independence, number one, contain. If Behringer's at quarterback, he dropped back the pass. You got to contain, smart rush in the pocket, maintain pass rush lane integrity. Maybe they look at going to a spy, possibly, because sometimes, teams used to spread the field with the guy that's a dual threat, and they spread the field just to give him more space to be creative in the spread run game, or just kind of helter-skelter sometimes, I think that's a big key for Independence. Kenneth, an attacking, blitzing defense like West Charlotte, how do you attack those guys?
Well, you've got to slow them down. There's lots of ways to slow teams down. Once again, we talked about it earlier. You want to go sideline to sideline. When those guys are blitzing every single play, they're getting worn out. So what you do is you make them defend all 53 and a third, and you wear them out even more. You throw screens at them. You force them. Webb just talked about the coach whose players do a great job of coming upfield. They fill screen, they see screen, and then they peel back. You make them peel back. But then you got linemen ready for them, right? You take those shots over the top, But then, honestly, one of my favorite things to do is run right at it. When you send 7 or 8, it doesn't leave a whole lot of people on the backside to defend. In 2012, or 2013, we're playing against West Rowan. I was at Concord, and Rocky Reed was for us, and West Rowan just kept sending the house, and I'm up top saying, Coach Padgett, just keep running the zone. He's getting ready to break it, and about 3 plays later, boom, it was 56 yards up the middle, and he didn't get touched. When we've had success over the years, I enjoy blitzing teams because, once again, my running backs, I believe that they're running back for a reason. They have the ability to hit that crease, to turn those shoulders, and to get going right now. I hated the teams that kind of sat back and kept everything in front of you. When you're playing a blitzing team, you're probably going to see some type of man coverage behind it, which I felt like gave me an advantage, not only in the passing game, because my quarterbacks and receivers repped it so much every single day. I felt like more than any team in the state. But once again, I felt like it benefited my running backs as well. We wanted to hit a home run play every time, and we thought we could.
All right. Excellent stuff, man. Big Shelby, you got a scrambling dual threat quarterback in the backfield. What are you telling your defense as a main key to keep him under wraps?
DBs have to make sure they do a good job of not breaking coverage until he crosses the line of scrimmage. D-line, and you have to work up some type of scrambling drill. D-line, you have to make sure you stay in the pocket and try to force him back inside. Backers, if he scrambles to your side, you got to know who's coming down and who's replacing. So you got to make sure you get hands on him when you can. You try your best to contain him. You just got to wrap him up, hit him a couple times. He might not want to scramble anymore, but you have to just keep on making sure. The biggest thing is DB staying back, finding their guys in their zone, or whether they're man-to-man, and D-line linebackers got to know who's scraping and who's and who's filling the gaps and trying to come down and stop them on the run. So, it's not it's a very hard task, but if you do it right, it should be easy. But you just never know. You just got to make sure with those dynamic guys at quarterback, man, you always got to have a plan for them.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned playing man versus zone. You think in zone it might be a little easier because there's more eyes pointing towards the quarterback.
Zone going against a fast guy. I mean, I think it all depends on your personnel. I think zone helps out linebackers more. If you have a scrambling quarterback, your linebacker not necessarily as athletic or not as disciplined, but because if you go man to man, they can just spread you out and run everybody down the field, and the quarterback can just take off. So you have to run some type of zone. But if your D line is that good, if your D ends are very athletic, you should have more success than others, because if the D ends can play sideline to sideline, and the interior guys can push the pocket, man, you have you should be able to get a couple sacks and get them on the ground.
All right, very good. All right, we're going to go real quick on these last two because we are way behind. Good gracious. Chambers going up to Glenn. Chambers coming off a loss. We don't say that very often. They're going up to Glenn, who is 1-1 on the season. My quick thought on this is I really do feel like Chambers will bounce back this week. Like we talked about earlier, that game could have went either way last week against Highland Springs. I don't think Glenn, can match up. I don't think anyone can match up with the Chambers receivers in offense in general. So I like Chambers to kind of bounce back this week. And then New Hanover, I applaud New Hanover, man. They're coming from the coast to take on Butler this week. Butler looked really good, knocking off Richmond County last week. They're 2-0 on the season. We talked about the quarterback, Zach Morris, and the linebacker, Tyquan Rankin, having big games. New Hanover 1-1 on the season. Didn't get a lot of information on them, unfortunately. But the way Butler's playing right now, I like them to continue to move forward and remain 3-0 on the season. Thank you, Maurice Megan. We talked about Rankin in detail. He was one of the Pepman's players this week, for sure. You guys got anything on those last two games you want to throw out there?
I agree. I think it's a good bounce back opportunity for Chambers. So, they're going to be motivated.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Good joke.
I didn't know there's a lot of money in Wilmington. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they on the water, man. It's a lot of money out there. Anytime you close to some water like that, man.
Oh, okay. All right.
But I think this is a good bounce back game for Chambers, man. I think they'll try to win big. It'd be a good matchup for Glenn. I think Glenn is Glenn 4A2?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there might be a potential playoff rematch down the line. You just never know. I think Chambers is looking just to come back out and just dominate this game.
Absolutely. All right, let's see how bad we did last week. Good.
I think I did good.
No, you didn't. We all were average. All of us were average. Good gracious. So Country Day at Michelina Christian, Engine and Producer got that one. East Mac at Hopewell, Engine, Big Shelby, and me got it. TC Robeson and Ashford, we talked about it. We were all wrong on that one. Burns and Chris, Big Shelby and Producer got it. Providence and South Meck, I got that one. And then we all got the bonus with Pine Lake at Thomas Jefferson. So all 3-3. And you see on the year,
I got to make a jump, man. I got to jump up in these rankings, man. I'm going to have to. I got to have a good week this week.
Let me say this. I think we do the most difficult predictions. I mean, I think, some of these other people out here doing predictions, they're picking easy games to predict. And
say their names.
Who are those other people?
Who's those people you speak about?
Who are they?
Those people that do predictions out here.
It might be somebody first time watching the show.
Inflated records. So I want to say this. Hey, if y'all know who you are, if y'all want to do predictions against us on our games, that's out there. That's out there. So
CFI versus the world, baby.
Who we got this week, baby?
All right. Week 3 predictions. Here we go. Coming down the line, Hickory Ridge at Porter Ridge. Professor.
I'm staying in Cabarrus County on this one. Hickory Ridge.
Big Shelby.
I'm going Hickory Ridge.
Producer.
Hickory Ridge. I'm looking at them to bounce back.
Clean sweep for Hickory Ridge. Let's go, Jupiter Wilson. All right. Ashbrook at West Mecklenburg.
Last week they did me wrong, so I got to go with West Meck, man.
All right. Big Shelby.
I got faith in Ashbrook. I think they're going to turn it around this week. I'm going to go with Ashbrook, man.
All right, producer.
I think I'm going to take a seat on the West Meck train for a week.
They're moving up, baby.
Well, I got to go with Ashbrook, man. Bounce back.
We'll be able to catch up with Pep on that one, producer.
Right. Right.
Parkwood at Providence.
Ooh. Boy, that's some good games this week, Pat. But man, I've been on the bus for a while. I'm gonna go ahead and stay on the bus, man. That running back over 300 yards. That's how you control a football game. Providence.
Big Shelby.
More Providence.
Producer.
Providence.
Clean sweep for Providence. All right. We're going to be there. Me and producer will be there this Friday. All right. Chat administrator Wes Rowan at Mooresville. Kenneth.
Yo, he's got me believing. Go Blue Devils.
Big Shelby.
I'm going to go with Mooresville.
Producer.
It's tough. My apologies in advance, chat administrator. I'm going to go West Rowan.
Well, the chat administrator says, oh, hold on. Sorry, Joe. There's a whole summary right there. But I'm also going to take West Rowan. I'm sorry, chat administrator. All right.
Man, I'm going to go ahead and take the lead this week.
Burns at Kings Mountain.
We all know I hate Kings Mountain from 1998. We beat Burns in 1998, but I've seen AJ Richardson live in one-on-one drills. So I'm going Kings Mountain.
Big Shelby.
Let's see.
Boy, just know it's going to be posted all over town.
I'm gonna go with Burns. I'm gonna go with Burns again, man. Burns, man, they have continued to make me proud, man. I like what Coach Devon's doing down there. I feel like Burns is playing with a different type of chip on their shoulder right now, man. And I like Burns every game up until they play us.
Producer.
I'm gonna go with Big Shelby's second favorite team in his life, Kings Mountain.
What?
Well, I believe in destiny, and I was wrong last week when I picked against them. Burns Bulldogs, baby, all the way. All right, and our bonus this week, Hunter Huss at Central Cabarrus.
You already know I am. V-I-K-I-N-G-S. Vikings.
Big Shelby.
I'm gonna go with Hunter Hurst, man. I believe in Gaston County this week, baby. I believe in Gaston County.
Get out of here.
Let's go, Coach Randy.
We at Central Cabarrus, baby. 49.
That was me. Hunter Hurst, they get it out the mud over there, man. They don't care where they play at.
Producer.
That cheer from Mr. McClamrock was quite motivating, but I still think I'm at to go with Hunter Huss.
I'm going to have to ride with Coach Zach and Central Cabarrus, man. All right. Those are our predictions. If you want to join us, you can send in your predictions. And
don't forget the email.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. Let me put the email back up. If you don't like anything we say,
no.
It's wrong.
It don't say producer wrong. It say Pepman. So this is an individual hate email, not group. It's just for Pepman.
Well, I'm just saying that's how we receive everything, whether it's about us or.
Nope.
Anyway, that's
your
the
hate.
email you can use.
That's your personal hate.
Any grievances against CFI.
Against Pep. Next slide.
No, that's all the slides.
Oh, okay.
You should have did Chevy versus Crest, baby.
No, we still live, Webb.
I know.
Be careful.
Only the biggest game in the state, man.
All right, real quick, we're going to do best of the comments. Let me make this hold on. All right, so let's see here. Chat straighter.
Oh, man.
Now you have arrived. You got your own hashtag.
I like it, man. That's how I know I'm succeeding.
Producer is wrong. Wow.
Wow.
Oh. Hey, man. All I'm saying is we are out here putting up our reputations with these tough predictions. That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to stir no controversy or nothing. The invitation is out there. Come join us. We pick the games. We all pick the same, and we do it that way.
We're calling you the macho man with the elbow drop. Gotcha.
Let's see right here. Kanye says about Glenn and Chambers. A nice first half last year with Glenn versus Chambers before Chambers pulled away. I do remember that, absolutely. Nikisha Ricks talking about Independence West Charlotte used to be a rivalry. These kids don't know about that. So, hey, Kenneth said if your 8-year-old doesn't know if it's a rivalry, then it's not a rivalry. So, through that, let's see here. Joe He's talking about Burns expect Ben Mooney to be better than he was last year. Tad shell-shocked by the Kings Mountain pressure in that game. All right. Good point. We got so many right here. Cornelius Street talking about Mallet Creek and South Point. Mallet Creek OC has to call plays that give his wide receiver a chance. Wheeler proved himself at Latin. Okay. All right. We'll see if we can we'll see if that happens. Let's see right here. Talking about the 50-50, 9 tickets for Marcus Bell on his dresser. Man, Marcus, how much for one of your tickets, man? We got to get in on that. Joe Hughes saying it's up to $152,000.
Night.
Jeez almighty. That is crazy.
A lot of money.
You have my attention.
Zayflix, and yeah, Reggie Lee from North Make. Zayflix did North Make JV last week. Great videographer.
How am I gonna come to Shelby JV? I mean, dang.
Hey man.
No, just playing.
What incentives are you offering?
I don't think nobody offering incentives at a JV game. I mean, I'm not the athletic director.
Well, that's why nobody's there.
I'm not the athletic director. I can't promise you nothing. Can't promise you nothing at a JV game. You're gonna see the future Golden Lions. How about that?
Joe Hughes saying from social media to locker room bulletin boards in no time flat, talking about our rankings and
fun story, fun fact. I sent a certain coach a certain weekly prediction they had about his team, and they went out there and kicked butt. It was on a bulletin board.
Well, Kenneth McClamrock has always said this is the most influential prep internet.
It didn't come from ours. It came from another show.
Oh, okay.
And
well,
them guys went out there and had no business.
What other shows are out there? I'm just curious. I'm not aware of any. Are there any other shows?
ESPN has some shows, right?
All right. South Point Rock Hill is ranked 44th nationally. So that's impressive. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they ranked 44th nationally, man. You know, shout out to those guys over there at South Point, Van Horn and Q and my guys.
Yeah, doing an awesome job, man. That's good stuff.
And Dre. Shout out to Big Dre.
Oh, yeah. Good dude. Good dude, man.
Big Dre's right. Yeah.
Porter Ridge is my sleeper team this season as they are very physical on both lines. Oh, okay. Good facts right there. And I think they're a sleeper contender right now for a state title. So, Joe Hughes, Burns, and Shelby coach throwing rocks. I guess he's talking about you, Big Shelby.
Yeah, you're talking about what Mario Clark said, man. He's the only grown man that's not a wrestler that wears a belt, man.
Okay.
He wears a championship belt, man. You know, maybe too many championships down there.
Oh gosh. Let's see. Randy Savage. Yeah, hey, y'all remember we were supposed to do our wrestling names?
Hey.
Well, you got yours now, don't you?
Yeah, man, Randy Savage. You got to be a boss to get your own nickname. Nicknames are earned. And
that's better than.
I don't want to be Randy Savage though.
That's who you are, man. That's accepted.
I thought I was more like Dusty Rhodes because I'm a common man.
Dusty Rhodes. Is it better than Dustin Rhodes, Gold Duster? North Mecklenburg graduate.
Oh man.
Oh gosh. Let's see here. I think that's all the comments that we got. Oh, wait a minute. Kyla Watts wants this right here. Penn State versus Purdue tomorrow night. Who y'all got? And watch out for number 11, Penn State.
Ain't nobody watching that game. I don't know. Nobody's going to turn their TV on and say, hey, let's watch Penn State versus Purdue. The game you need to watch, baby. The game you need to watch is happening up at Boone, baby. App State and Carolina, man. That's going to be a great game, man.
Well, Kyla says I go with Penn State in that one. Just to answer your question.
Yeah, I go with Penn State, man.
I go with Penn State.
Yeah.
They said Notre Dame versus Ohio State. Is that what he's trying to say?
I think that might be.
And if Penn State wins, I want you to add a win to my pick column because he put it
No.
Hey, Pep, I do think
Y'all choose the Huskies.
we should do college games. 1 week we should do college games in the NFL.
We do the NFL.
We do NFL games.
Ain't nobody want to keep trying to pick those Panthers that ain't gonna win.
Remove him. Remove him.
Man, you know what? Get this cloud off there.
There you go. and
It's only timeout, Big Show.
Ladies-
Only in timeout.
That's why they call me the super producer. He's in.
All right, Notre Dame versus Buckeyes. What y'all got?
Buckeyes.
Yeah, Buckeyes.
Ohio State.
Yeah, I'd say Buckeyes too. Yes. Okay. Well, it is finally that time. You guys have been so great tonight with your comments, and all of your interaction has been awesome. But it is that time now.
Yeah. The slime dried up now. It's late.
We got a fresh bucket. We got a fresh bucket brought in.
I got one that man gonna like, man.
It is that time to slime with your favorite host. Not me.
You know what time it is? It's the time that we step away from football, and it's the time that we let people get a piece of our mind. People who have upset us, teams who have upset us, organizations who have upset us. So let's go ahead and start it off. Super producer, who are you sliming on tonight?
I got a good one. Well, good one for me. I'm going to slime any company, organization, scammer out there that's doing these stupid robo-dollars, man. Like, they're very annoying. And I swear they're like roaches. You stop one and then there's some more coming. You can block the number. It doesn't matter. They're going to come with a different number. So extended warranties, Medicare, all those robo-dollars, man. I'm sliming anyone who controls a robo-dollar message, man. Robo-dollar calls. Sliming them all.
True that all robocalls, there should be a law that says if you robocall somebody, corporal punishment should be allowed, including execution. Pepman, who are you sliming on tonight?
I don't know about execution, man. Good gracious.
Great shot.
I'm gonna slime cable companies, man. I don't know why I have 600, 700 channels, and I still can't find nothing to watch on TV. I mean, it's absolutely insane, man. I was trying to upgrade on my cable box to get the Charlotte, Florida Atlantic game to watch it. Luckily, this didn't work because it was not a good game. But, God goodness, cable companies. First of all, your upgrade thing didn't work until the next day, which I didn't need it then. And now I'm stuck paying this extra $13 charge, which is crazy. Right. But, yeah, man, all these daggone channels. And they got, why is there like 5 TBSs that show the same thing? And 3 TNTs that show the same thing? 6 different USAs that all show the same thing? Why am I paying for all of that? Just give me one USA, one Comedy Central, one TBS. Why do we have multiple channels? It's crazy. You slime. Get out of here.
Paramount, Peacock, Hulu, Netflix, Amazon Prime Video, all those streaming networks that I pay for, and I still can't watch the Charlotte Hornets, Pepman. Explain that to me. It makes no sense to me. Back in the days, if I wanted to watch the Atlanta Braves, boom, TBS. If I wanted to watch the Panthers, boom, there it was. If I wanted to watch fill in the blank, bull crap. I agree with you, Pepman. You know, I'm going to have to slime. I just lost my train of thought because it got me thinking about not being able to watch the Charlotte Hornets. God, dog. Who was I going to slime? We'll go to Webb. You're up.
Yeah, go to Webb.
Think about it. Webb, who are you sliming on?
Man, I am slimy. This is crazy, man. I've been seeing the ad on internet and Facebook about this restaurant we have here called Wings Etc. Man, they had a 69-cent wing month up until August 31st. So, one last Thursday, man, I said, you know what? I'm going to save myself some money, man. I'm going to go get me some 69-cent chicken wings, man. I ordered 10, so my bill should be like $7, man. I got a water. I ordered some curly fries, man. So I'm like, okay, maybe my bill should be $10 for 10 wings and fries. You can't beat that. So I proceeded to eat my wings, man. I got some honey barbecue, trying to expand my horizons, as my girlfriend wanted me to do. I really eat plain or lemon pepper, So I proceed, to eat. And then I pay for my food. And when I get the check, ask for the check, say, check, please. My check is $18. Do you not know that they charge you for the wing sauce on the wings?
What?
They charged me for the wing sauce on the wings. First of all, they did not warn me. Second of all, I could not get a refund on anything because I said it's not in the fine print. It's not in the description. So, man, I am sliming Wings Etc. of Shelby, North Carolina, man, because that is just horrible, man.
This is the worst slime I've ever heard in my life.
That's terrible.
As all the chicken wings I've eaten in my life, you don't have to pay for the damn sauce. Are you serious? Are you freaking serious?
Hey, Pep, this is the crazy thing. She said you got to pay for the sauce. Because I asked for 2 extra ranch. I was like, oh, you talking about the ranch? Most people,
right?
They may charge you a quarter or something for the ranch. I'm like, the ranch. She said, no. She said, no, honey. The barbecue sauce. I'll be there.
I would love. I want to see the. I hope you got a picture of that receipt. I would love to see that bill.
Good.
Yeah, I was so
How
pissed.
much was the charge for the sauce?
It's got to be at least like $1 for his bill to go up. That much dollar.
I got water. Game day. Trying to hydrate for the Thursday night JV game.
Oh man.
What did they charge you for the sauce?
You say what?
What was the cost for the sauce?
Well, the wings was only like $7, and the fries was $2, and my bill came out to 18 something.
They charge you $9 for sauce?
A wing?
Hey, man.
Tag cost for the sauce.
Oh, Nikisha Ricks. That's built in the price at French Quarter.
Yeah, but it's $6 a wing.
Man, it's crazy, man. They have a 69-cent wing day, man.
God, that is horrible.
Literally for the chicken.
Joe, I promise you, Joe. I should have called you and told you to come meet me out there, man. I'm telling you, man.
That's insane.
You were talking about a pit. We had to drive to Asheville too. I was so pissed.
Well, I won't be.
Well, you got your slime, Kenneth.
I got one now. One what I had in my head.
All right, go ahead.
But I'm going to slime these knuckleheads who think that they know about football, who get on the radio and just start talking. I've been hearing all week these knuckleheads call into a local radio station talking about how UNC's defense is garbage, how UNC's defensive line is garbage, how Appalachian State's offensive line are just going to maul them. Can we just set something straight for people who know a little bit about football? What FAMU did that was so genius versus UNC is they said UNC's defensive front is way bigger, way faster, and way stronger than us. We got a big, tall quarterback who can get rid of it really quickly. We are not going to allow UNC's advantage, their defensive front, to knock around our quarterback. And so that quarterback just stood back there and shotgun, and as soon as he caught it, he turned, he gripped it, and he ripped it. He let it fly. I don't know if I had a stopwatch, if I was timing, it would be super fast from the time that he caught the ball until the time that he got rid of it. He didn't have time to turn the ball and to find his laces. He just threw it, and it worked incredibly versus UNC. That said, they were able to keep on the field and keep the chains moving. It was almost like that old school split back veer, baby. It was like Novocaine. It just kept the ball moving 5 yards at a time. But that's not who Appalachian State is. Appalachian State, even though they got 21 dudes who are like 25 years old. By the time I was 25 years old, I'd been married for 4 years. These dudes have been playing for so long. Hell, they got kids in grade school now that are coming to watch them after they get out of 5th grade. But what Appalachian is, they are max protect, 3-man in the routes. That quarterback is going to sit back there all day and try to pick apart UNC's defense off of the play action. It's not the same thing. It's not even close to being the same thing. You can't say that because FAMU was able to move the ball with success on quick game passes that Appalachian State is going to be able to do the same thing. Now, I'm not saying that Appalachian State is going to lose. I'm not saying that UNC is going to win. But what I'm saying is if you're going to get on the radio and talk smack, at least know what you're talking about.
Amen. I totally agree, man.
I mean, have your game prep ready. Be well researched.
That's what you got to be when you talk sports, man. You can't just come on here just talking about nothing. Karen Belk with a slime. Slime the fans walking back and forth 10 times in a game and blocking the view of those who really came.
I told this woman and her daughter Saturday night at that UNC game, I said, now y'all done passed me 8 times. That's my limit. Y'all going to have to go around somewhere else to get to where y'all are going. Don't be coming around me no more.
That really bothers me at a Hornets game, man, because I have the aisle seat. And, I like that little extra leg room. I'm a big dude. I got to have that. And, man, getting up every – Brandon, you've been there with me.
Oh, I thought y'all sat courtside at the Hornets game.
That's coming up. He's getting the CFI suite. But back in the day, I'd sit in the aisle, and, it would be people that's, they want to get up every 5 seconds. So I'm like, did you even come to watch the game, or you just wanted to say,
Well, back then, the Hornets weren't really worth watching back then, so I can agree why they got up and left.
You can remove them twice in one show, Pep.
I really thought about it. But we got more.
Right now they're balling though. Right now they're worth the price of admission right now.
Well, we'll see. We'll see with this Miles Bridges situation, but I don't want to go there.
Oh yeah, he's done for. He's playing basketball in
California Penal League.
probably a rifle.
Chat administrator sliming Pep's pick'em standings. 2021 we broke ties in alphabetical order. 2022 just puts Big Shelby last. Come on, man. Everybody was the same. That's just the way I typed it, man. It's not. There's no. If it's all the same, it's all a tie. I mean, come on. Ain't no conspiracy. This is a family. We love each other, man. Come on. Joe Hughes saying Webb bought that $7 water.
Joe, man, you can't even understand how pissed I was, man. And that water. Think about the water. I couldn't drink the water because I don't know what was colder, the water or the air in the building, man. It was too cold to just drink some cold water. It was weird, man.
Calls for the sauce. # calls for the sauce.
Chat administrator also wants to slime whatever this situation with Baker saying what he said about playing the Browns in week 1. Seems pretty unprofessional from the reporter.
Yeah, I don't think I agree.
I mean, that's what Baker is, though, man. Baker's that guy. He's rah-rah guy, very cocky, very confident. If he goes out and play bad, then, hopefully Sam Darnold's ready.
No, Sam Darnold ain't ready.
He's hurt.
Yeah.
What are y'all doing with Cam?
Who?
They might call him because
Big Shelby's still in 2015 right now.
Yeah.
But Donald's probably out 6 to 8 weeks, right?
Y'all had Cam Newton last year.
He's
don't
not
act like y'all weren't on this show last year, super hype. Whenever y'all got to see Cam.
Hold on, now don't be putting that
in my mouth. Yeah, baby. Y'all was all yes.
Don't say y'all.
Yeah, super Cam.
Now that was the Queen. Rest in peace, Queen. But
you were doing it too. Ken's the only one that said he don't know how it's going to work.
I was okay with it because at the time, I mean, we didn't have a lot to lose at that point.
Yeah, I know.
That's very true.
Y'all was in a rough spot.
Why not?
Tough spot like always.
Why not get some fans in the seats at that point? So,
but the game still didn't sell out though. That's the bad part.
A few 10 extra fans. It was a few extra.
All right, last comment of the night. Joe Hughes, big baller brand. I don't know what that's about.
I think it's what you said.
Okay. That did not happen, Joe. But I appreciate the confidence that everyone thinks CFI is loaded, and we are not at all. We don't have fancy graphics.
CFI just
We don't have fancy graphics.
Or tomato.
On behalf of the producer, Big Shelby, and the engine, I am Pepman Matt Morrow. Oh! JV Game of the Week.
Oh!
I almost forgot again. Good gracious. I will be at Butler as they host Weddington on Thursday, tomorrow evening. If you see me, please say hello. Butler and Weddington won the poll with, I think, 32% of the vote. South Point Mallet Creek was second at 28%. Olympic and Hopewell was third. And then the last one was RGKL at Marvin Ridge. So I'll be at Butler this week. It should be a good matchup, too. Really good programs. Excited to be there. So good night, everybody. Sorry for making you stay up later, but we had to get all of our research in tonight and make sure everybody was informed.
They like it. They'll be all right.
All right. Appreciate
People will
everybody.
stay up late to watch the top show in the area. Let's just be honest. Good night.